is pretty breathtaking. The one thing they said was, at some point, either before you cross the line or before, there's sort of a bookend to that moment from the beginning when you stopped and looked around. They said, when you're there, turn and look back.
Wow.
Realize how far you've come.
Yeah.
You've come
Incredible.
all that way. Not just 170 point whatever, not just 15 and a half hours, but your whole life.
Yeah.
All the 5Ks, all the running you've ever done. Anytime you put your shoes on out in the snow and you go for it, no matter what you've done in your life, the near accidents you've had in a car and you survived that car. That's all led to this moment. Is for you to be able to do this, and to realize that Ironman, it's really cool what they provide. And so I think I can be a good ambassador for them because I really am grateful for what they do.
Yeah, it's
And
incredible.
cross the finish line, and I didn't know what the medal was. I didn't care about the medal. Usually I care about the medal so much. I know what it looks like. I put on my screensaver. I'm like, I'm running towards the medal. I didn't even know that wasn't 100% sure there was a medal. What
Right.
I wanted was for Mike to say, Sean Astin, you are an Ironman. And
Right.
I crossed the finish line and he said that. My wife and kids were there
Uh,
and it was a beautiful moment. And then the next step, I was like, ow, ow, ow. Like, what? I'm like,
so
I
we get
need
a
to sit down.
wheelchair.
But yeah, actually, my coach got one of those luggage carts from
Right.
the hotel. So once I got around the corner from where all the people were, I sat down on the luggage cart and he pulled me. When I took my shoes off, it was pretty impressive. It was like, oh boy. Oh boy.
Right.
It didn't look as bad. I was expecting blood and
Yeah.
it actually didn't look, it looked swollen more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
And you could feel I love talking about this to runners because you can appreciate it. But
Yeah. We're all about that.
anyhow, I learned a lot about my family.
Yeah.
I learned about what, you know, that seeing them be impressed because they hear about it all the time. I mean, as far as they know, I go out 2 hours later, I come back in.
Right.
Go out 2 hours later, I come back in. Can we go to the movie now? And they respect it and they tell me, oh, my dad does marathons. And so that's great. But when they looked at the distance, when we flew in and got out at the airport and I showed them where the bike was and showed them how the run was,
Yeah.
their mouth opens up a little bit, their eyes get bigger, and they're like, "We're really gonna do that?"
Right.
Yeah. And when you finish it, and you can see in their eyes, like, wow, they're just so like impressed and
Yes.
inspired by you, and now that what you did, first of all, it just selfishly feels good, but now for the rest of their life, and it's not a small thing, it's not a subtle thing.
Right.
It's something that they could talk about in school. It's something that if you're sitting at a bus stop, it'd be instantly accessible to them. And
Mm-hmm.
that is like human achievement.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're a child and your parents achieve something, logic would dictate that, unless you have some malady, that you can do that too.
Yeah.
Exactly. Set the
And
bar higher for them.
just let them know what's possible.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't do a triathlon, they might not know what a triathlon was at this stage of their life. Now
Exactly.
they know that it's out there, and the thought occurs to them, oh, maybe I would maybe I could do that someday. That,
Definitely.
so that, and to know that, you want that whenever as a parent, just teaching them letters, teaching them the alphabet is the same thing. That's more useful probably. But, but there's something when you connect that feeling to the sheer physical weight of increased heartbeats over 4 or 5 months of training of 3 to 7 hours a day, of the muscular pain, of the literally the physical sweat that's come off. Like, this thing, I physically did this thing to
Right.
give you that sense of confidence or possibility, wonderment that you might enjoy now because of that. So it's a new level of satisfaction, and it's worth it. And the other thing is, if I can do it, a lot of other people who may not even consider it can do it. I mean, they really can. Maybe they wouldn't ever want to do a full Ironman because of the commitment it takes. But if people do even those sprints where it's a 100-yard swim or 500 yards, 1,000-yard swim, something like that, where it takes them 25 minutes to do the swim, and then the bike is 12 miles or 26 miles, which is, most people can do with bike when they're kids, and then a 10K,
Yep.
like, the feeling of that, there's something about going from the water to the bike where there's the wind, and then going from the wind to your own motor power. Like, it's a really cool event. It's a really cool event. I like it. I don't know. I'll do it again. I'll definitely do another triathlon. Definitely. I feel very confident about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I still am a runner.
Right.
even though the running was my weakest discipline, even through all the suffering that I endure from the valleys and the peaks of my training and my fitness level and stuff, I still, I mean, I ran out to the car to make sure I tried to be on time for you
Yeah,
guys. And
exactly.
that 100 steps, I was like, they're not the same 100 steps somebody else takes. They're not the same 100 steps that somebody who's done 11 marathons knows. And the snow is on the mountains and it's
Right.
beautiful. The flag is over there. You know what I mean? It's like, so
Yes.
I'm still a runner. Put that on
That's
that's the
right.
headline.
That's still a
Yeah.
runner.
Well,